Immigration, the struggle for a better life. Immigrants in the Gilded Age by no means had an easy life. They worked all day and night for low wages, as well as endured the hatred of foreigners by locals. However, this is not the first time America has seen immigrants pass through its golden gates. Colonial America. In its first stage in becoming the country it is known as today, America was a small strip of land known as the American colonies. This is where we see a flux in immigration into our country, particularly from 1600 to 1775. The biggest group of immigrants to come to America was the British. Indentured servants are people who were given an opportunity to go to America in exchange for a period of unpaid work, came to America to experience the new free world. Religious masses, such as the Puritans, Quakers, and Presbyterians, flocked to the colonies to relieve themselves of the religious persecution which had continued in Britain. This great movement in America did not come without hardships. Just having to come to a different country and start a whole new life was difficult. Death and disease were also common, as well as starvation when crops went bad. Fast forward more than 50 years after colonial immigration, and we've arrived during the period of old immigration. Railroads are just starting to bloom, and America's feeling pretty high and mighty. The Irish, however, were not so lucky. The Great Potato Famine had just swept through, leaving many poor and hopeless. The Irish, as well as the German, migrate to America, where they are greeted with open arms. We need laborers to work in mines, factories, and railroads. These immigrants made perfect candidates. However, this flow of immigration grabbed the attention of the Know-Nothing Party, who thought that immigrants just took American jobs, did not assimilate into American culture, and were mainly Catholic. They opposed all immigrants coming to America during this time and used violence and other means to voice their opinion. And now, here we are, back to the Gilded Age. Immigrants once again are on their way to America, but this time on a much larger scale. Whether fleeing from poverty, taxes, or religious persecution, every immigrant seems to find comfort with America. Immigrants that came to America were Southern and Eastern Europeans, such as Italians, Greeks, Russians, and as well as the Chinese. These new groups did not assimilate into American culture as easily as their predecessors. Americans did not accept these new immigrants as gracefully as before. There was no land for these new residents. Competition for jobs between Americans and immigrants increased, and they built ghettos to keep their culture instead of switch to that of Americans. They were much poorer and were willing to work at lower wages. Many did not take permanent residency and vowed to return to their families in their country would. Their social status was as low as possible, reaching below that of newly freed slaves. The unfair treatment towards immigrants was terrible, and maybe one of the worst of the mountains immigrants have had to climb throughout history. The main goal of immigrants was they wanted to achieve a better life for themselves and their families. They received so much negativity for wanting that, and it just shows how hesitant Americans are to accept someone who is not just like them.